morning and welcome to today's almost daily devotional. We're going to read from Psalm 78, starting with the 23rd verse. God gave orders to the skies above, opened heaven's doors, and rained manna on them so they could eat. He gave them the very grain of heaven. Each person ate the bread of the powerful ones. God sent provisions to satisfy them. God set the east wind moving across the skies and drove the south wind by his strength. He rained meat on them as if it were dust in the air. He rained as many birds as the sand on the seashore. God brought the birds down in the center of their camp, all around their dwellings. So they ate and were completely satisfied. God gave them exactly what they had craved. Israel's faith historically has been grounded in memory. It's been grounded in memory in the experience of their ancestors who have gone before them. They are very rooted, especially the writers of the Psalms, in the history of the faith. And so they often tell stories from the past in order to show truth about the present and remind them about what to expect in the future. And even though they hear these stories over and over and over and over again, Israel consistently in the Old Testament fails to recognize them for what they are. It fails to recognize these stories for their value and for the lesson that they can teach them. And so they have to keep learning these lessons over and over and over and over again because its outlook, its viewpoint in the world is narrow, very narrow and very immediate. And I think most of us identify with that. We can't plan beyond today. We can't plan beyond tomorrow because we don't know what the next day will bring. And so we have this narrow focus. And we forget how God has been faithful in the past, how God has shown up in the past. And what it does for us, what that does is it causes us to miss out on where God is acting now and in the future. God, who is the same from beginning to end, God who is Alpha and Omega, who is the first and the last, who is consistent, is going to act the same way today and tomorrow as God acted yesterday. Now, it may not look the same. This is where we get tricky. But the principles are going to be the same. The content, the values, the things that God lifts up as important, the way God responds is going to be the same in its intent. The outcomes may look different. Okay? So, as we grow older, our parents should parent us differently, depending on our age. You don't parent a toddler in the same way that you parent a teenager, hopefully. But the principles are still going to be the same. You're the same type of parent. You're still going to love and care for them and nurture them and make sure they have enough food to eat after school and all of those things. And it's the same with God. And that's why these stories are important, because they teach us how we can expect to see God at work. Anywhere we see God's love at work, that's God acting. Anywhere we see God's provision at work, that's God acting. Anytime we see God promising hope, reminding people of hope, that is God acting. And so are we just looking for God in the wrong places? Are we expecting God to outcome to be the same today as it was yesterday? Do we know our history? And can we see it for its value?